Here with UC Irvine head coach Ashlie Hain and student athletes Campbell, Jensen and Ofure, Iselen after a first round defeat in the Hawaiian Islands presents the Outrigger 2024 Big West Women's Volleyball Championship. First, coach, just an opening statement about tonight's match.
Yeah, I thought we came out strong. We had a good game plan, and we thought we matched up against Davis well, and we were excited to have them as our first match. I think we've just missed some opportunities late in sets to execute, and they did, so good for them. But I know our girls feel like there's some missed opportunities, and but it was a hard-fought match, and they answered back in that fourth set, which I was really proud of. They could have just thrown in the towel, but this group has had a lot of fight all season long. So. A lot of long matches, but just really proud of them in the locker room. I told them, I'll remember them for their fight.
Taryn Rodriguez, host of Set Point on iSports Radio. Ashlie, obviously the loss stings, but having to get to this point where you had to win out, hope that you got some help along the way, how honored is it to be hosting this tournament and to make it into this tournament with your circumstances?
Yeah, I think it would have been, heartbreaking not to be in it and hosting it. So I think, good fortune and the right wins definitely played a role. I'm not surprised. I knew it was going to be a lot of hard-fought matches. Our conference is, I think, the best, in the West right now, top to bottom. And even the teams that didn't make it, they're all super competitive, and there was no easy wins this year. It's probably been the toughest year for everyone, I think, in the conference night after night.
Ofure, you bring such an interesting dynamic to the team and the insertion of joy. We've said that through the broadcast the entire year. And you just have fun out there. And even though this was a loss, you still look like you had an incredible experience. Can you share a little bit on that?
Yeah, going into this match, I feel like I was just super grateful just to get to this point. Everything had to go right for us to be here. And so I feel like everyone on the team was just extremely grateful for this opportunity. And I think knowing that people feed off of my energy makes me more aware of how I feel and my body language. And so always finding the good in situations and good outcomes, bad outcomes, the way we respond to those matters, and it's just a dynamic back and forth.
And this one's for you, Campbell. And I actually gave Julie the same question of Davis. And this year I think we've seen some of the best libero play in the conference. And it was hard to pick who would be on what team. You ended up getting second team. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
21 digs tonight, just showing that was very well deserved. But what is your experience like this season and then going into tonight's opening round match?
I make it a goal to try and get as many balls up as I possibly can and just be the leader of the backcourt. So I definitely try and work my butt off every day, in and out. During the off season, I'm definitely gonna try and hone in on widening my range and being a little bit more consistent in serve receive, and also just really working to keep us in system and just continue to lead the backcourt.
And this is a question for Ofure and Campbell. Obviously playing in the Big West Conference tournament on your home court, what do you have to say to the fans that supported you, and what was it like playing in front of the Bren, or in the Bren?
It's always a great opportunity to play at home, play in front of your fans. I love seeing the families out there going crazy after every point, good or bad. They're just there supporting. And I feel like you feel the support on the court. You feel like you have the whole arena backing you, and you don't feel like you're alone. Even when things aren't going right, you can still look up there, see a familiar face, and be like, okay, I still feel like I can do this. And I just appreciate the opportunity to play in the Bren.
Yeah, the fans are great, the energy is always great. Again, it's really nice to see familiar faces in the crowd because you just know that they have your back and that they're supporting you tenfold. And even when they're not there, you always still feel the support from the people in Irvine and Bren. It's a really nice feeling.
This is for you, Ashlie. I know, sorry. Good answer, yes or no? No. The beginning of the season, you immediately had some challenges that you had to overcome, but it seemed like you and the coaching staff are pretty successful in making some of those adaptations and changes to get you to this point. Looking back, how do you feel about what you've done as your overall body of work coming to this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't an easy match that I remember, you know, so just in-game adjustments, seeing things. I think both Nasir and Brandon stepped up at different times and were like the difference, so to speak. So I really appreciate their leadership, and we've been together a while, so I think it's at the point now where we kind of like don't have to speak and you know what each other's thinking, and so it's a really nice cohesive unit. I think overall, like I think Ray said, there was a lot of ups and downs, but you can't feel bad about the fight that we showed, I think, as a program. In each and every situation, there's been seasons where, 10 years, right, Rob? There's been seasons where, you know, I feel like we let some get away from us, and I didn't feel that way the majority of the time, if not, you know, 90% of the time this season. You know, I always felt like we had a fighting chance because of, you know, their resiliency, their hard work, their trust, and there was a lot of buy-in, and so I think just hearing them and how they feel shows me their success. You know, there's a lot more to their experience than just volleyball, so if they're feeling good about their overall experience and have developed strong relationships, which I know they have, I think that's success.
And this is a question for Ashlie, and I asked this to Dan. The first round matchup was between two first-year coaches. The second first round matchup was between the two longest tenured coaches of the Big West. How much of an honor is it to be one of two longest tenured Big West coaches?
Can you say longest again?
You're second longest, Dan's the longest.
Yeah, I can't believe like 10 years goes by so quickly and so much has happened, but you know, it was a tough season. I think for that reason there were so many good players, and Dan's experienced, and has I think a few more players than I do that have been with him a little bit longer, which, you know, is a little bit of an advantage. We have a lot of transfers and people in their first year, but I think knowing your players, which I feel like I do, is really important, and I think he knows his players really well. He has a great leader in Utterback, and so I think he found a lot of consistency this season, so good for him. I think we were right there. I don't think we were far off, you know, and I think that's one of the reasons the stakes were so high and the margins were so slim this year.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on a successful season, and thank you for hosting us here at the Bren. It's been great.
Thank you.